Remember at the bank? Yeah. So Golem, Koschei, Noon Rates, Basilisks, Vampires, Fact and Myths. Tom analysing folk myths about vampires and providing accurate information about blood drinkers like Alps, Bruxa, Felders, and Garcanes. Kikimores and Eves. This is about the Vodnoi warriors, clerics, and Dagon. I think you can actually get that off of the old lady in the swamp, so no. Also, The Last Wish is actually a book I have somewhere nearby. It's either in the bag at the right-hand side of the room. I have a book bag over, right-hand side of the room. You know, at the other corner of the room, I have a book bag over there with The Last Wish possibly in it. Or The Last Wish is, you know, next to me in a book stack, and I'm just not seeing it. But yeah, that's actually a Witcher novel. I can't remember if it's a novel or a collection of short stories, because there is one of those out there as well, maybe two. But yeah, I have The Last Wish all the same. I just haven't read it yet. But yeah, I will be buying a lot of these war books. Actually, they're all pretty damn cheap. I could probably buy some right now. Elemental Genies, Barrenland, Herbarium. Do we even see any Barrenland? Sure, why not? Okay, can afford a few of these. The story of Lara Doran and Kragan of Laud. The Flower and Flame, a work devoted to the Order of the Flaming Rose, its history, its dogmas, and the figure of its Grandmaster, Jacques de Aldersberg. This is French, I can't say it right. Lara's Gift, an elven version of Lara and Kragan's legend. Alright, we'll start looking at these. The book contains information about lesser vampires like Felders and Garkins, as well as higher vampires including Alps and Bruxa. It describes methods of fighting blood drinkers and dispels myths that have accumulated concerning these monsters. The book provides valuable information on kikimores, workers, warriors, and queens. It also mentions giant centipedes. The wonderful world of insectoids, also known as killed with fire. The bestiary describes the underwater race of the Vodnoi, warriors and clerics, as well as the mysterious Dagon. It's a clear nod to Lovecraft. Dagon. Or Dagon. There is, the Lovecraftian horror. It's a clear nod to that. I think it's actually even spelled the exact same. I was actually looking up about Lovecraft, and apparently due to, his lack of self-confidence and something else, this was according to Wikipedia, he didn't really advertise himself much when he was alive, but it was only posthumously he actually achieved any sort of fame and recognition. It's interesting. The work mainly discusses fire genies, also known as Ifrits. The Queen said, "Don't plead for mercy." This is the human. But beg for... the Queen said, "Don't plead for mercy, but beg those whom you harmed with your sorcery. Your courage to commit evil deeds. You had the courage to commit evil deeds. Be brave now, when justice is near. It is not in my power to pardon your sins." The witch sniggered like a cat in response. Her wicked eyes gleamed. "My doom is near," she shouted, "but yours is not far either, my queen. At the hour of your terrible death, you remember Lord Doran and her curse, and know that the curse will touch all your descendants for the next 10 generations." Yet realizing that the queen was fierce at heart, the evil elven witch stopped swearing, and threatening with curses, began whining like a bitch, begging for mercy and help. It was at the time when the Order of Flaming Rose was falling into decay and declining in power. Masters and knights were equally corrupt, lacking in faith. They performed the war in bed to fighting and street girls to prayer. Rudolf Valaris ceded the title of Grand Master to Jacques de Aldersberg, a man of great piety and righteousness. It is said that during the conclave, a white rose in his hand burst into flames, and the pious fear seized those present. Jacques had a clear vision of necessary reforms, did not hesitate to put them into effect. He changed the name of the order, which is now known as the Order of the Flaming Rose, and it was previously called the Order of the White Rose. Above all, he set the knights to a new purpose, to serve and protect humans from creatures of darkness and monsters. A category he expanded to include those known as the Scoia'tael. While considering the Scoia'tael's tendency to kill any human they see, within the Witcher novels, the Scoia'tael, in their freedom fight, just cut down a random human on the road. The guy was a messenger, so they just shot an arrow right through him, killing him dead. Just cause he was present. So I think that's a fair addition, really. Certainly not all Scoia'tael are like that, but to be honest, they kind of joined a, like someone said earlier, it's a terrorist organization. It's, you know, kind of joined that organization, they kind of knew what they're getting into. It's not, then again, saying that people are idiots here, so may think also, you know, shout Scoia'tael and just stab a random dwarf. Regardless. Alright. But even pleas and incantations didn't soften the stone hearts of the Doin, the cruel and merciless humans. When Lara grabbed the carriage door, begging for mercy, not for herself but for her child, the queen ordered the tug to swing his sword, cutting her fingers off. The winter cold set in that night, and on a hill amidst the woods, Lara drew her last breath while giving birth to her daughter, whom she protected with what warmth was left in her body. Even through the night, winter and blizzard were all around. As springtime suddenly came to the hill, and fen-wind flowers bloomed. To this day, those flowers are found in only two places, the Valley of Dolblahana and on the hill where Lara Doran ep Scoia'tael died. I've actually saw that in Viking Conquest. That same little thing, AEP. I swear that's in Viking Conquest. Go check that video if you're not. If I could be wrong, but again, that's kind of hammering home like my thing of maybe it's Irish, because I swear that was. Actually, I think I saw that on a Welsh character. But Irish, Welsh, it's all the same. But yeah, maybe it was an Irish one as well. Not sure. The following example of the sorcerer from the tower. We first need to classify substances, dividing them into superior and inferior quantities. Only the former can be described by the theory of interdependence presented here. Inferior substances do not produce a chain of quasi-life structures, for their nature is substandard in quality. They cannot exist independently. However, it has been proven that they are paradoxically essential for the chain to exist in spite of their inferiority. The hypothesis of interdependence assumes that the chain of quasi-life must each contain one substance of each superior element. Nonetheless, the chain substances proposed by Rafford the White has one too few places for them, namely only 5. If the chain were transposed and then transmuted, the problem could be easily solved. Alas, the first operation cannot be performed without damage to the chain's integrity. The only solution is to use a so-called reverse transmutation, which will eventually cause the chain to rotate. As a result of rotation, all 6 superior substances will constantly leave and join the chain without destroying it. From the holistic point of view, there will always be 6 superior substances occupying 5 places. The ingenuity of this solution lies in the chain having all the qualities of the 3 inferior substances. Thus the paradox of interdependence, or as some say coexistence, is no longer a problem. Unfortunately, since none of the modern works describe how to perform reverse transmutation, the problem of animating the inanimate remains unsolved. I have no idea what I just read there. Among the numerous fates of the Nordlings, the most widespread is the cult of Scoia'tael, a goddess in 3 forms: young girl, a mature woman, and old hag. Scoia'tael is a mother goddess, caring for her children. particularly women pray to her, though men in need might also utter supplications. Religion is a vestige of the old matriarchy, and testifies to the weakness of the Nordlings. People worship female deities are soft-hearted, capable of preparing their sons for war. Sorry, I just find that funny considering I just remembered, look, it's the Greeks. They had Athena. Look at the Romans, who stole the Greek gods and renamed them. They had, oh, what's her face? She's in Smite. She's kind of hot. What is she? Let me look her up. I think she's the like the wife of the Roman god of war. But she's also a god of war in her own right. Roman war goddess. Bellona? I was gonna call her Belladonna. Bellona, yeah. She's the ancient Roman goddess of war. Yeah. Somehow I think the Greeks, well, let's see. Yeah, well, let's just go with the Greeks. And the Spartans, but we'll leave them under Greek. The Greeks and the Romans, yeah, somehow I think they were capable enough of preparing their people for war. I don't really know of any other faiths that worshipped female goddesses, especially those of war. I know the Celts had a female god in the form of Serona, though that worship never came to Ireland. It stayed within like Gaul or somewhere else, but never came to Ireland apparently. Miracle of Sound did a song on it. Serona, I think that's the name of the goddess, and that's the name of the song. Sirona. She's like associated with music and healing, and I think she's also associated with water. At least that's how it sounds from the song. It's quite a good song, to be honest. Like obviously, I doubt Gav, worships her, but he personally could make a really kickin' prayer. Obviously, I don't know any, the traditions of their worship and whatnot, but fuck it. In my opinion, it would work well, and that's the only opinion that matters. I am the one with the microphone. It is my opinion that matters. Yes. In recent years, the cult of Scoia'tael has found a rival in the cult of the Eternal Flame, which came out of Novigrad. Clerics of the Eternal Flame demonstrate fanaticism and almost complete devotion. Religion is hostile to any form of otherness, including non-humans. The Order of Flaming Rose is the cult's militant arm. The treaty also examines other faiths, including the cult of the Lion-Headed Spider. So, really, is the Scoia'tael fate a cult? Glossary. Let me just move my headset for a second. There we go. Among the numerous faiths of Nordlings, the most widespread is called Scoia'tael. The goddess comes in three forms: young girl, woman, and crow. Scoia'tael is the mother goddess, extending her care over children. Her following is not solely composed of women, men pray to her as well. Clerics of Scoia'tael preach love and peace. They run many hospitals, shelters, and orphanages. Crom Agter, called the Lion-Headed Spider, is a cruel deity who expects bloody sacrifices from his worshippers. The cult of the Lion-Headed Spider is banned, and there are but few places in the world where its adherents can openly declare their fate. The mayor strives to eradicate belief in the Lion-Headed Spider, and the cultists are tried as murderers. Deuterium. Deuterium is rare and precious metal with an interesting feature. It represses the transfer of magical energy. A bluish alloy of iron and deuterium is used to produce handcuffs and necklaces. Those who wear them cannot cast spells or use magic in any way. There are known cases, however, of extraordinarily powerful sorcerers managing to overcome the shield generated by deuterium. Extraordinarily powerful sorcerers. No cases of sorceresses? And again, it could be them they're talking about, and it's just misphrasing. I swear sometimes this game kind of misphrases shit. Elves. After gnomes, elves are the eldest race on the continent. They created a magnificent civilization, and the greatest human cities like Vizima and Oxenford were built upon elven ruins. Elves also have special affinity for magic, although their magic is different from that of humans. Elves are longly lived, yet the reproductive period of their lives ends quite early, and moreover they reproduce much more slowly than humans. This is why they were defeated, the reason why they lost their preeminence in the world. Today only two enclaves of the race remain: the Blue Mountains, where elves suffer from privatation and are dying out, and Dol Blahna, the Valley of Flowers, which is ruled over by the sorceress Enid Nagana. Again, an Irish name. Enid, Angana. I like to say a bit of Irish. I feel warm and fuzzy about it, but I'm utterly atrocious at saying most of it. Dol Blahna, Enid Nagana. They're probably the most I can say. And even then, I'm not sure I'm saying Enid right. Enid. It's probably Need. The Valley of Flowers is a dependency of Nilfgaard. Elves are a beautiful, long-lived race. They have pointed ears, sharp features, and possess no canine teeth. Elves are arrogant and proud, and over many centuries they've developed a high and sophisticated culture. Few remain today, however, and are in constant conflict with human civilizations. This is why so many young elves, eager to fight for their rights, join Scoia'tael commando units. Humans have their own version of the legend of Lara Doran and Kragan of Laud, which differs greatly from that of the elves. An elf and a human came together just after the conjunction of spheres and the rise of the human race. The legendary lovers became a symbol of the peaceful coexistence of two races, though some elves, jealous of Lara's attractions, treacherously killed the barbarian who dared to get involved with her kinswoman. The human version, Lara is portrayed as a witch. Kragan's death resulted in much treachery and scheming, and thus the hostility which exists today between the races is the elves' fault. The elves tell the story of Warren Doran and Kragan of Laud, elven sorceress and human wizard, the legendary lovers who formed the first union between the two races. Elves claim this relationship proved that peaceful coexistence between the races is possible, at least until the human treacherously killed the wizard, banished Lara. Thus, according to the elves, human hostility, possessiveness, and aggression were first demonstrated. These barbarian qualities make coexistence with humans impossible, and so the lovers' tragic end triggered a war that continues to this day. But that argument kind of falls flat. They argue that the relationship proved coexistence possible, but if humans are barbarian, then that thing couldn't have been possible. I suppose they could argue, well, he wasn't like that. Then what's stopping any other human from not being like that? It's nothing but, blind racism. They're fucking idiots. Y'all are retarded. Elves don't discuss their fate in presence of humans because they think the barbarians will not be able to grasp philosophical, mythical subtleties. Let me guess. Penis goes in tree. Very detailed. Most humans, on the other hand, don't care about elven beliefs. It is a fact that some elves also believe in Dana Medib. Medib? Again, it looks fucking Irish to me. Again, it could be a similar derivative of look at most European languages like English, French, Spanish. They all have a Latin origin. Look at this Nordic languages. I was going to say religions. From like Iceland, Norway, Finland, Sweden. They all have a similar derivative. They've all similarities. In fact, there's more. Actually, I remember someone making the point that someone was talking about the like how I was saying, English, French, Spanish, whatever, of Latin origins. They've like a derivative language, the language that's they come from basically, or something like that, and how the Nordic languages are similar. Someone was actually making the point how dissimilar those two language groups are, or something like that. I can't remember the details, and I can't really comment on them myself. I know little about language. Language is my thing. I remember a friend putting it quite eloquently how language is the ultimate expression of a culture, or something to that